Common CAE speaking mistakes. What are they? First of all, many students use basic adjectives like good, bad, happy, sad, or nice. Well, if you use these adjectives, you are not going to score many points because those are the same adjectives that a child might use. Remember, this is an advanced speaking test. So, when someone asks you about your town in speaking part one, you could say, "My town is nice and the people are very happy." But if you think about it, you could benefit more from using more advanced adjectives or perhaps less obvious adjectives. My town is pleasant, quaint, and the locals tend to be very disarmingly charming. That, ladies and gentlemen, is advanced vocabulary. The next common mistake is dead air. What do we mean by dead air? We mean staying silent, maybe because you are unsure of yourself or you are feeling nervous. But whatever the reason is, silence is the worst thing you can do in your speaking test. Try to learn how to say something when you're not saying anything. This is a great way to overcome the possibility of dead air. How to say something when you're not saying anything. So, I want you to imagine you get this question. It's not easy. How can governments reduce the levels of plastic pollution? You're nervous, maybe you're not an expert on this topic, and you don't know what to say. But we do know that being silent is one of the worst things you can do. So let's have a look at this. There's our student, feeling very nervous, not saying a word. And guess what? He's not scoring any points. But have you ever tried a strategy such as this one? Oh, that's an interesting question. I've never really thought about that before. I'm not really an expert, but I do know that people need to start working together to solve this problem. So, what does that answer do? Well, it doesn't actually answer the question, but it does demonstrate a good level of English, confident communication, and it's better than silence. The final mistake is not learning the exam structure. Do you actually know how the Cambridge speaking exam works? If you do, you will know that there are 4 parts, and for each part, you require a slightly different technique. And if you don't bother learning the techniques, you might walk into your exam with these kind of questions. How long should my responses be in part 1? What do I do if my partner speaks terrible English? Do I really need to use comparative and speculative language in part 2? If you don't know the best technique for each part, how can you expect to get a high score? It's like trying to swim without learning how. Would you try and swim without learning the correct technique? Here's an example. Cambridge speaking part 3. What do I need to do? Well, this is the part where you work directly with your partner. And the 3 simple things to do are learning how to agree and disagree in different ways. Pass the ball, which means remembering you are working with your partner. You're not working for yourself, you are working with another person. So remember to ask them for their opinion. And finally, positive body language. This piece of advice is not taken seriously by many students, but they forget just how important it is and what a difference it can potentially make to their final score. Positive body language, such as sitting up straight, making eye contact, nodding your head, demonstrates confidence with your communication, a positive attitude, and will affect the perception your examiner has of you. Now, if all this sounds interesting, then click on the link in the video description because Mr. Vocab has designed a specific course to help you with your Cambridge speaking technique. The course covers all parts of the exam It will give you the correct techniques for each area of the exam and provide you with free example scripts so you can practice at home.